Welcome to the 646ers podcast. I am your host, Creek. And in the 646ers podcast, we break down the six most important points to a win or a loss in a game. We also break down points just in general to anything Sixer related. If you like the content, please like, share, subscribe, hit the notification button. Everything Sixers here in good times and in bad times. Tonight was a bad time. Sixers fall to the Brooklyn Nets 136 to 121, and it wasn't close. The entire game, pretty much, with the exception of the first couple minutes of the game, the Sixers were playing with their backs against the wall, coming off of a big win against Utah on the heels of Joel Embiid being out and knowing that he'll be out indefinitely, and Tyrese Maxey being named to the All-Star game. We were looking for more tonight after that win in Utah, which saw Tyrese Maxey score 51 points and Tobias Harris scored 28 points in that win. So that gave us kind of some hope going forward that even with Embiid out, it's possible that these two guys can hold down the ship and hold the fort until possibly Embiid come back around the playoff time, giving us an opportunity to make a run. Well, tonight we had too many guys out. Harris was out. Batum was out. Melton was out. Covington was out. Embiid obviously was out. So it was a lot of guys that just were not available. And we took a massive L. And we were expecting the next couple games, we put out on the Facebook page what would be the wins and losses over the next week. And a lot of people were saying 3-2, 4-1. But I don't think anybody was anticipating a loss to the Nets. So that would change everybody's record of what they thought it would be. Now, I had put originally 3-2. I put a loss to the Mavericks and a loss to Golden State. And now I'm actually trending toward 2-3 at this point. And if we play like we played tonight, might be even worse. But these are my 6 points. The first point is the Sixers got an F for effort. An F for effort. There just wasn't much effort in how they played tonight. They looked lethargic. I put in my write-up that they looked like they had just come off of a West Coast road trip, which they did. They looked jet lagged. Maybe the jet just pulled in this morning and they just were not prepared to play a game like this. In the NBA, it is professional sports. Every team, even if they're the lowest team in your conference, they're capable of beating you if you don't bring your A game. The Nets were ranked 11th in the Eastern Conference. However, they do have some ballers. You have Bridges, you have Cam Thomas, and then you have a lot of really good role players on that team as well. I like the their center Claxton. He had 12 points tonight, but if you don't bring your A game every night in the NBA, you're subject to take a loss. So the Sixers didn't put much effort into it. Loose balls, they weren't going to the Sixers. Hustle plays, and anything that involved putting forth that extra effort, they just didn't have it. They shot a lot of air balls tonight, a lot of shots that didn't even come close to going in the basket, and they just looked out of it. So that effort is always critical. The first point is that the effort was just lacking tonight. They just didn't have it. And that is not something that can be fixed. Unless the guys decide that, they're going to play with more effort. So you got to play with more effort to win in the NBA. Point number two, the injury report was not in our favor. As I mentioned in in the beginning segment of this podcast, we had too many guys out. 4 out of 5 starters. And any team, I don't care, any team in the NBA, you take 4 starters off and you're basically running with the role players. Daniel House, he started tonight and he's just not a starter. If you take that many starters off of any team, it's probably not going to be a win. It's probably not going to go in your favor. A lot of it is with chemistry. You have a first unit, a second unit, and you have different units that the coach will run, different rotations, guys that are used to playing with each other, that know where each other are going to be on the floor, that know each other's tendencies. And when you have a fragmented starting lineup that is of guys that are not used to playing in that role, then it's going to be trouble. Maxey was the only one that is used to starting. And the rest of those guys are used to coming off the bench, which is just a different game entirely, coming off the bench of an already existing game. Also, just in terms of the defense, the rotations, and scoring ability, knowing who to pass to, it just throws everything off. So the injury report is critical. We did get some good news in the post-game report, in the post-game interview with Nick Nurse, that DeAnthony Melton is working out. He's getting his body ready to come back in the game. He's missed significant time, so he is going to need a conditioning period so that he's ready to actually play a full game. So that's the good news, is that he might be returning soon. And the other good news, I guess, would be that Tobias Harris is not injured, but he was suffering with an illness and it was not related to the previous illness. So there was no lingering effects. It's something new that he's suffering with, and we can expect to have him back as well. So if you get Harris, Melton, and Maxey in the starting lineup, well, then you have something there. And if we get Batum back sooner than later, then you have everybody except Embiid, and then you have a team that can potentially get us into the playoffs. But without 4 of the 5, it's going to be difficult. Point number 3, defense. The defense, and I noted this in the game against Utah, the defense was just horrendous. The Nets are not a high-scoring team. They're not known for lighting it up, but they lit it up tonight, 136 points. At one point, they were on pace to score like 150 points. And of course, in the second half, there was a bit of a let up, and they just didn't score as many. The game slowed down, but they're 11th place in the Eastern Conference, and I just don't see where they should be scoring on us at that rate. Cam Thomas, 40 points. I like Cam. Cam's a good player, but 40 points on us is too much. They were just shooting without being contested. There was a lot of mistakes on the defensive end, a lot of missed assignments, a lot of not rotating, and a lot of not playing help defense to the basket. And then it resulted in a lot of easy layups and on the perimeter, a lot of wide open 3-point shots. And like I said before, these guys are NBA players. You give a guy a wide open look at a 3-point shot, it's like me or you or anybody, any regular person making a layup or a free throw, something of that nature. They do it for a living. So you can't let them shoot uncontested. You can't allow them to just backdoor cut or get to the rim without any type of rim protection. I put that on Reed and I put that on Mo Bamba. Reed and Mo Bamba did not protect the rim well. And particularly Reed, who started the game, was not effective on defense. So that's the third point, is that the defense was just not there. Number 4, the role players need to step up. We didn't have Harris, who was probably our number 3 scorer on the team, our go-to guy. Without Embiid, he goes to number 2. So without him, you needed a legitimate number two guy to back up Maxi, and it just was not there. Maxi had 23 points. The next highest point total was Kelly Oubre with 16. So we needed another 20 plus 25. Probably needed a good 30 from Maxi and another person like Oubre to put in 25 or more, and then another one to get, close to 20. If you get 23, 16, and then everybody else hovering around 10. Oh, I take that back. Terquavian Smith, he had 17. So I was mistaken in that. He had 17. But his 17 came, we're going to get to him because there's a whole point about him. His 17 did not come in the course of the game where we were actually in the game or had a chance to win the game. So, and those who had a chance or were in the game that had a chance to win, it was slim pickings. So you need somebody. We're going to need somebody to step up. Hopefully, Tobias Harris will be available for the next game. But if not, I see from what I see from our lineup. Kelly Oubre, sir, you are up next. You are up next. We need 25. We need you to have a breakout game, and you are capable. I mean, you're a versatile player. So let's see what you got. Number 5, Terquavion Smith. He was a bright spot. He was 17. He scored 17 points. He was 4 for 5 from 3-point, 5 for 6, excuse me, from the 3-point line, 6 for 7 overall. And he came in with a spark and a fire, guaranteed to make his mark and to make his presence felt. And he did. And I really don't care that it was garbage time. I don't care that the game was out of reach or that maybe the Nets weren't playing as intense as they would have played if it was coming down the stretch. If you can shoot like that, I say he might be somebody that we just give an opportunity to see what he can do in the middle of a game. Since we are shorthanded on games where we're shorthanded like this, let's see if he can light it up in regular play in the second quarter or first quarter even. Give him an opportunity. But he lit it up pretty well, and I like to see the young guys like him and Council and get an opportunity. Lofton has not been with the team for a few games, but I like when they get in and get the opportunity to showcase what they can do. So great game, 17 points coming into the league. He was a +8. So keep that up, young fella. Last point is Nick Nurse has a lot of work to do. Yeah, and I'm sure he knows it. The defensive effort has not been there, but not only effort, just X's and O's, guys missing assignments, going the wrong way, following guys out of the paint like Paul Reed and leaving the paint open for easy baskets, and then just not contesting on the perimeter. Wide open three-pointers. We saw the same thing with Utah. And guess who's coming to town? Luka. And so we better step that up and soon. And I don't know what kind of plan Nick Nurse has going into the future, but we can't seem to stop anybody. And if we can't stop anybody, we're definitely not in a position to be outscoring anybody with all of our guys being hurt or injured or having whatever illnesses they have. We're not scoring enough points. It has to be a defensive effort. And we have some pretty decent defenders. I think Daniel House plays really solid defense. Springer plays good defense, scrappy defense. And we have Morris Sr., who can cover and has a big body. So we have the personnel defensively, but it just has to be put together with better effort. And so that is my wrap up for tonight. The next game up is the Dallas Mavericks, and that's a home game on Monday night. And I never lose hope. Don't lose hope, Sixers fans. We don't know what's going to happen in the next couple weeks. They have put a label on Embiid's injury, but they have not defined exactly what it's going to look like. They're probably trying to figure out from themselves and from him how they want to proceed, whether they want to have a surgery, maybe a season ending injury, or they want to try some other some other avenue to rehab and allow him to be able to play through the playoffs to see what we can do. I err on the side of whatever is best in the interest of the player. I do not err on the side of somebody pushing through something that could be detrimental to their career long term. I love the Sixers, but I love the fact that, a young guy can have an opportunity to play in the NBA even more. So I do not want them to try to push him to play. And I do not think he should try to push himself to play just for the sake of this season. There's always other seasons and a much longer career. So I would pull a Kawhi Leonard, how Kawhi just said he wasn't ready and he didn't play until he was healthy. And he's lighting it up now. He's doing well. I mean, he had some ups and downs with injuries. Maybe some of them had to do with playing coming back prematurely before he was actually ready. So Embiid, stay healthy. That's the main thing. Get the rest that you need. If it's surgery that's required and you have to sit the rest of the season out and come back strong next season, that's probably the best avenue. Other than that, I hope that our role players and our other guys like Maxey, Harris, Melton can step up, put forth a valiant effort. You never know what can happen. I do believe in the team. I still believe in Nick Nurse. So we can't play the song tonight. We can't sing the song tonight because it was a terrible loss. But I'm hoping to report some good news on Monday night. So let's go, Sixers. And let's go, Sixers fans, Sixers faithful for the team. That's the 6 for Sixer report. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. If you like the podcast, if you like what you see, comment as well. And hey, if you're interested in being on the 6 for Sixer podcast, hit me up. Let's make arrangements to get some fan participation here, get some other points of view. It's your brother Creek Creek. Until the next time, we out of here.